Thank you, Speaker, and my colleagues, Rabbi Shem Tov, for inviting us. Hanukkah is a happy holiday, so I thought I'd first start off with a story and then get into my remarks. And it relates to, we were each given by Rabbi Shem Tov a yarmulke. So in 1992, I was redistricted from my Brooklyn district to Queens into a significantly Jewish neighborhood. And a lady came over to me and said, "You're Congressman Schumer." And I said, "Yes, ma'am, I am." She said, "I've never met you before, but I watch C-SPAN religiously, and I want to pay you a compliment." And I said, "Thank you, ma'am." She said, "Of all the 435 members of the Congress, you have more courage than anyone else." I said, "Well, what do you mean by that, ma'am? I know some of them, we call them no good nicks, but some of them are very good people. What makes you say I have more courage than any other?" She said, "Well, as I said, I've never met you in person, but I watch C-SPAN religiously, and when you rise to your feet to speak, you're the only one who has the courage to wear a yarmulke." I said, "Thank you, ma'am. It's obvious you've never met me in person. It's not a yarmulke." Anyway, on a more serious note, we are joined here by the Bibas family, whose family members are being held hostage in Gaza at the brutal hands of Hamas terrorists. I want to thank everyone for being here and for everything you and other families are doing to advocate for your precious loved ones. We will not stop until every hostage is released and returned home. As the highest-ranking Jewish elected official in America, now and forever, the significance of a lighting menorah here in the Capitol is not lost on me. It reminds us of just how far the Jewish people have come in our long and winding history. This year, Hanukkah, of course, comes at a moment of grief, trial, and fear for the Jewish people. And perhaps for that, it's all the more meaningful. In the darkness of our world, after the horrific attacks in Israel on October 7th, and amid the dramatic and unfortunate spike in anti-Semitism here in America, we need the light of Hanukkah more than ever before. The story of Hanukkah is a story of perseverance in the face of unspeakable hatred. It's a story of how the Jewish people of a different age, forced from their land, forbidden to practice their religion, their temple destroyed and desecrated, gathered to pray in secret, banded together in the hills and fields, and fought off their attackers. Once victorious, they set about the hard, the slow, the painful work of rededicating the temple, and once again lighting the eternal flame of hope. Rededication. That is what those survivors took part in by lighting the candles that night. That is what we are all called to do this Hanukkah. This Hanukkah, we must rededicate ourselves to the promise of being a land of tolerance for all people. This Hanukkah, we must rededicate ourselves to standing against anti-Semitism, Islamophobia, and all other forms of bigotry and discrimination. It's why a few weeks ago I went to the Senate floor to speak about the rise of anti-Semitism in America. I spoke out because as the highest Jewish elected official in the country, I felt an obligation to say aloud what is felt in the hearts of so many Jewish people across the country and around the world. I shudder, absolutely shudder, to think what it would mean for the future of our children and their children if anti-Semitism continues to seep in our society like a poison. This Hanukkah, we must rededicate ourselves to building a more perfect union, one that preserves equality for every American. And this Hanukkah, we must rededicate ourselves to building a more just and equal world, one in which democracy thrives and prevails against the forces of darkness, whether in Israel or in Ukraine. Only after this rededication can we begin the hard work of Tikkun Olam, or the repairing of the world. This is a noble but worthwhile quest, and we must all do our part. So, Chag Sameach, a happy Hanukkah to all of you.